I get it, there's a lot of videos out there promising to teach you how to make $10,000 plus per month, but I can guarantee you that no one has talked about the method that I am about to teach you in this video. What I'm about to teach you in this video is one of the more unique ways for you to start making money from home at your own time. I can safely say that this works because I have been consistently doing it for the past year and a half, and I've tested it out a bunch for you guys, and now I'm gonna share it with you. This video will be divided into 4 parts. Part 1 is going to be the method, which will go over what you should be doing for you to be able to make $10,000 plus per month. Part 2 will be the prep, which is how you're going to position yourself to start applying the methods that I'm going to be teaching you. Part 3 is going to be the application, which is how you can apply what I'm going to teach you in order for you to get the best outcome possible. Part 4, which is the results, will go over the results you can potentially make, how you can make it, and it will break down the numbers in detail. So what I'm about to teach you requires no previous experience. It requires no money out of your pocket. All it requires is your willingness to do the work and to actually put in the reps before you see the result. And quick disclaimer, if you have somewhat of an interest in cars, I think this will help you tremendously. It doesn't mean that if you're not interested in cars, this won't work, but having the slightest interest in cars will help you enjoy this even more, which then will keep you doing it longer, which will generate you a better result. I've been away from YouTube and I haven't been posting for a while because I figured I needed to build some experience and build my resume before I come and share some valuable information with you guys. And this resulted in me being able to generate more income than I have ever been able to, and hopefully what I'm about to share in this video will help you do the same. So most of the videos you watch will probably tell you that you're gonna have to start your own business for you to generate this money. But what I'm about to teach you will require none of that. You shouldn't start your own business. You don't need any prior experience. You don't need any money out of pocket. You don't need any degrees, any certificates. You can literally start today after this video. So what I'm about to teach you will yield the following results if you follow it properly. Number 1, you'll be able to make money from anywhere at your own time. Number 2, you'll be able to start making money without having to spend any money, because everyone teaches you how to start dropshipping, which requires you to pay some money up front. This requires zero money out of your pocket. And number 3, it will give you the experience of starting your own business, but without actually starting your own business. So what is this thing that I have been talking about since the beginning of the video? Well, it is buying cars. Hear me out. Dealership need cars to sell, and they acquire cars through 3 different ways. Number 1 is they buy them from the auctions. Number 2 is they take trade-ins. Customers come in, they trade their car and they buy a car from them, or they just buy a car from a private seller who's looking to sell their car. You just give them a cash offer and they buy it from them. And this is where you and I come in. If you're anything like me, you've always been interested in cars, but not to the point where you thought that you would make a career out of it or you would start making money from it. Just a hobby. I see a nice car, I like the car, and I would say one day I will buy this car. Well, in this situation, you're going to be able to buy any car you want without any money. When I got introduced to this idea, I was completely shocked because this requires nothing other than your laptop, or you can literally do it off your phone. And unlike a traditional job where you're limited by the number of hours you can make and you make X dollars per hour, this will reward you the more you work. The more you work, the better the results you get, the more you get paid. And there is really no limit on how much you can make with this because it's up to your results. And the more results you generate, the more money you make. So in a nutshell, here's how you would make money. You would look all over the internet for good deals on cars, or if you just see a car and negotiate the price until it's a good deal, you would send it over to a dealership, they buy it, you get paid. As simple as that. Part 2, the prep. So how are you gonna start working with dealerships? First and foremost, we're gonna have to find a dealership that can handle almost any car that you send them. And the reason for that is you don't want to work with a dealership that has a set limit on how much they can spend, because this will in turn just cap how much you can make. Remember, the higher the value of the car that you send them and they end up buying, the more money that you can make, especially if you're getting paid a commission or a percentage of how much they make, which we'll go over in more detail in the later part of this video. Once you find the dealership that you would like to work with, you're going to propose that you're going to be finding cars for them so they can buy it and sell it and make a profit off of it. And I'm going to share with you the tools that you're going to need to be able to determine the value of the cars. The best way I would sell this to a dealership is by telling them, hey, this will cause no risk to you. If you don't make money, I don't make money. And I believe that this is an offer that they would feel stupid saying no to, because think about it. If I tell you, pay me $1,000 and you'll make $10,000, would you do it? It sounds like a no-brainer. I also want to stress the importance of working with a dealership that has a good reputation and that have a proven track record. Because number one, you want the customer that you're buying a car from to have the best experience ever, so they can come back and work with you whenever they want to sell their car or whenever they have a car that they want to buy. Number two, you want the dealership to be able to handle the volume that you're sending them. Because think about it, if you send them a $500,000 car and they end up buying it, you're gonna make a big amount of money on it, as opposed to just being able to send them $10,000, $15,000 cars. Not that there's anything wrong with that and that you can't make money doing that, but this will require much more volume of cars for you to be able to hit your financial goals at the end of the month. It's going to be much easier for you to convince someone to sell you their car if you tell them, I work with X dealership that has a great reputation and has all these nice cars on the lot. And once that step is done and you actually found a dealership and you spoke with them, we go to step number 3, which is the application. Now, if you're like me, before I jumped into this and I had no idea if this car was a good deal or not, you could have showed me a $50,000 Honda Civic and I would have thought it was a good deal. I had no idea. But thanks for software and technology, there is almost a software for anything on this planet, and one of them is actually determining the correct price of a car. The two tools that I use to appraise cars and get the proper value are called AccuTrade and vAuto. You probably have never heard of these, and if you have, well, that's good. And if you haven't, then that's no problem, because most of the time the dealership you're going to work with will provide you with the necessary tools for you to actually be able to properly appraise cars, because these usually cost money, and like I promised you in the beginning of the video, you're not going to spend any money when you first start with this. Or you can use free tools such as KBB, Edmunds. There's a lot of these free appraising tools out there, but keep in mind these will not be as accurate as the paid ones, because the paid ones will give you access to more details and more data overall about the market, which will give you more information to be able to give out proper offers and have an edge over the competition. Now, if you really are unable to use any of those tools, what I suggest you do is go to cargurus.com, and what you can do is take a look at the deal rating. They have something called deal rating, where they rate a deal. If it's a good deal, they will say good deal, great deal, it's a great deal. Keep in mind, sometimes they label things as great deal, but it's not actually a great deal. Bear that in mind. Another thing you could use is actually use the instant offer that, let's say, CarMax gives. Go onto their website, check out what instant offer they give you on a car you're interested in buying. So you would put the VIN or information about this car, they would give you an offer, and then this gives you a nice range of how much you should actually pay for it, because these corporations, they know how much they pay most of the time. Now, a pro tip, I know what you're gonna do now is start looking for Lambos and all that, because this is the exciting stuff, and I get it, but keep in mind, there's a nice balance that you're gonna have to eventually achieve, because if you look for Lambos, there's not many Lambos out there for sale, and the less cars out there, or the less cars that you throw offers on, the less the chance of you closing or buying the car. Now, one of two things can happen. Number one is you can focus on Lambos or high-end cars and buy less cars, but eventually make a big amount of money on every purchase. Or you can buy lower tier cars and buy, let's say, 10 of them. Let's give you an example. I personally focus on Teslas because there's so many of them out there, and they're not too expensive and they're not too cheap. Now, what this does is it helps me be able to understand the market and spot good deals quicker, because let's compare this to, let's say, a BMW M3. If you show me a BMW M3, I'm not going to know if that's a good price or not. But if you show me a Tesla Model Y, I know right off the top of my head that this is a good deal or not, because I have been dealing with them constantly. So I highly suggest you focus on 3 or 4 or even 5 different models. That way you can memorize the market and you would basically specialize in it. If you want to specialize in Porsches and Lamborghinis and Ferraris, even better, you're going to get paid more eventually. And the reason you're going to get paid more is we're going to talk about in part number 4, which is the result. How much money can you actually make doing this? The short answer is you are going to make as much money as you are willing to work, and you're going to get paid proportional to the amount of results you will generate for the dealership. The more cars you buy, the more money you make. The more expensive the cars you buy, the more money you're going to get paid per car. And as you get more and more efficient and fast at finding deals and closing deals, you will get paid quicker, in turn make more money. So there are 2 ways that you can get paid doing this. Number 1 is a finder's fee, or just a fixed fee for every car that you buy. Let's say you find a car, You send it to the dealership, you agreed with the dealership that they're gonna pay you $300 for every car that you send them and they actually buy. This is called a finder's fee or a fixed fee. Number 2 is commission-based. Commission-based is my favorite way, and that is getting paid the percentage of the money that the dealership makes. I'll give you an example. Let's say you negotiate a 10% commission on the profits that the dealership makes. You find them a $100,000 car, they buy it, they sell it for a $10,000 profit. You make 10% of the 10,000, which is eventually you would make $1,000 for the car you just found. Now you can do it with a $10,000 car, you can do it with a $50,000 car. If you do it with a $50,000 car and they make $5,000, you just made $500 for the car. Even better, when you start doing it on the cars that would generate 30, 40, 50,000 for the dealership, every deal you close, you would make a monthly salary. Money can start compounding the more and more deals you buy over time, and if you combine it with buying those high-priced cars. Now, even better if you're able to negotiate a higher commission. Let's say you negotiate instead of 10%, you get paid 15% of the profits. Instead of making that $1,000 mentioned earlier, you immediately are going to make $1,500. It will add up eventually. Even with the finder's fee, there is a decent amount of money that can be made. Let's say you agree to make $300 for every car that you send the dealership and you end up buying 10 cars a month. You just made $3,000, which you can make while working your job. So it's a supplemental $3,000, which will cover rent and more depending on where you live. The beauty with this is that you're kind of an intrapreneur as opposed to an entrepreneur, because with this, you are getting the experience of a business owner and without risking your money, but you can also work at your own time, which is basically what you would do as a business owner, and you can hire a team under you of people buying cars or scouting the internet for cars that you will buy and send to the dealership and get paid a cut of every car that they buy. So really with this, sky's the limit. You can go as far as your imagination would take you. You can also run ads and give people cash offers. We can go over all this in detail in later videos, but it's really you starting your own business with zero risk. It just requires your time and effort and energy, and eventually you will get results. Now you have two options. Number one, you can either learn all this on your own and start from scratch just like I did, or number two, you can click the link in the description to my school community. It's like a Facebook group essentially where we can get in contact. You can get in the same room with other dealers, other people who are interested in buying cars, other people who already do this for a living like myself. You can ask questions, you can get access to softwares, all that stuff. Click the link in the description, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.